the first things we do is we're laying the stiles laying flat, and if there's any panels involved, we put what's called a space ball in between. What that does is allows the panel to move, but allows the panel to stay centered inside the panel opening. Depending on how tight the space balls are, we may brad them just to hold them in place so they don't get turned when the panel is put in. One of the strongest glue is the two-part marine epoxy, also known in this case as the West system. This system is commonly used in boats because it can hold up in extreme conditions. Unlike most wood glues, which are water-based, this is a chemical-based glue. All of our product is glued and doweled under pressure. Depending on what the door thickness is, will equate to what the dowel thickness is and length. Depending on the size of the rail, where the rail meets the stile, will equate to how many dowels that we put in the meeting joints. One of our key functions that separate us with our exterior product is we not only glue and dowel, we glue where the dowel hole is, but we also glue the adjoining joints. You can see that we apply it with a brush, making sure we get all the joints. Once complete and both joints are glued, the marine epoxy's strength is actually stronger than the wood itself. Most manufacturers have a machine that either has a dowel that has glue activated or has a machine that squirts glue in the dowel holes. They do not put glue around the perimeter for added strength because that requires labor and hand application. When assembling the door, each part needs to fit. We make all these products custom made to your size, your specifications relating to panel thickness, profiles, designs. Little things that you'll see throughout is that panel is a veneered panel, the grain direction. It's going to be book matched that we show in one of our other videos. On an exterior, every joint where the stile meets the rail is epoxy. As you can see, it's a very labor-intensive process, but a process that when you're putting it in extreme conditions is what's needed to keep the door held together and reduce the amount of movement as much as possible. One of the other key comments about this glue is its set time. Normal water-based glue sets in roughly 2 hours, whereas the West System Marine Epoxy has a cure time of 10 to 12 hours. One of the key things that we do is we will build the door, hold it in place in the clamp machine, and not take it out till the next day. That allows the glue to hold all joints square and flat the same way that it was built. In the assembly process, the door may not look as finished sanded as you might expect to see once the door comes to you. Keep in mind, a lot of these parts are in the rough, they're milled, but they're not sanded. The narrow pieces coming up are muttons. So this door is a TDL, a true divided light, where what you're gonna see is when it's built, the glass is going to sit against the stop. One of the other distinguishing things is even on these narrow pieces of wood, these narrow muttons, we still dowel and follow the same process. What that allows us to do is have muttons that are very straight because we're CNC boring them and fitting them into place. One of the last steps is to put the stile on the top, basically completing the building of the door process. Once the door's in the clamp machine, it's important to put a clamp in alignment with each rail. On the bigger rails, we might align 2 clamps, smaller rails, 1. Once the door is clamped together, one of the last steps we do is measure diagonal to diagonal to prove that the door is square. One of the last things we do with the marine epoxy, once we're done, is to wipe off any excess, so that way the glue does not set. As you can see, a very time-consuming but significantly value-added process